Superlative in French with FrenchSpanishOnline.com. The translation of the most, the least. Part 1. The most and the least followed by an adjective or an adverb. For example, the most beautiful or the least slowly. Let's see how to translate these words in French. The most is le plus. The least is le moins. As you can see, actually, if you remember the comparative lesson, it's the same words, just a definite article. Here we have le for the masculine form, but of course you can imagine the feminine form la plus or la moins. So let's take some example. Part A, when we have just the adjective. It is the biggest, or in French, it is the most big. In this case, we'll have c'est le plus grand. And that's all. It's not very difficult to understand. She is the least tall, the same thing, but the feminine form this time, c'est la moins grande. And that's all. That's not very difficult. Part B, when you have an adjective and a noun. She is the youngest girl. She is the youngest girl for the noun. C'est la fille la plus jeune. As you can see here, we can't translate word for word from the English sentence into the French one, because the construction is very different. Construction actually is like that. In French we need the definite article, the noun here, la fille, then a second definite article and the superlative, la plus, la fille la plus jeune. Let's take another example to be sure you understand. He's the richest man in the town. So again, we can't translate this sentence word for word into French, but we are going to say he is the man, the richest in the town. To have this construction. And this way you can translate it in French now. C'est l'homme le plus riche de la ville. As you can see, we have the same thing. Here the L apostrophe is the first definite article. Homme is our noun. Here the second definite article and the superlative form plus riche. Okay? Let's take some example to summarize this part 1. I work the most. The translation, you remember, I work the most. No difficulty for you, je travaille le plus. And that's all. What made me laugh the most is the clown. Okay? The same thing. Ce qui m'a fait rire le plus, c'est le clown. Here the sentence is blue. In blue is just to show you that sometimes it's not possible to translate because we have some idiomatic expression as well. For example, the translation of I eat as little as possible. We could say in French, je mange aussi peu que possible, but we prefer to say je mange le moins possible, the least possible. I eat the least possible. Je mange le moins possible. So it's just to show you that sometimes to translate from a language to another language, you need to know some idiomatic expressions. Part 2, the most, the least, followed by a noun. For example, the most money or the least mistakes. How do you translate that in French? The most is le plus de. So you remember de if you remember the lesson about the comparative. And the least is le moins de. Why de? Because we need after a noun. Let's take some example. I am the one who won the most money. So here we have our superlative form and our noun, the money. I am the one who won the most money. C'est moi qui ai gagné le plus d'argent. So here we have our D apostrophe for de, le plus d'argent. He made the least mistakes in the class. He made the least mistakes in the class. Again, here we have our noun. So the translation of the least will be le moins de. Il a fait le moins d'erreurs de la classe. Again, a D apostrophe because of the noun started with a vowel. Il a fait le moins d'erreurs de la classe. As you can see here, the translation that in the class in French is of the class, de la classe. C'est fini. So you just have to remember to practice actually. The most difficult part of this lesson is the translation of expression using twice definite article, for example, is the richest man in the town, and things like that. But go to FrenchSpanishOnline.com/magazine this page, and you will have more exercise to understand better this lesson. Thank you for watching this slide with me. C'est fini. Au revoir.